Okay, we're recording.
I know my name.
Yes, but they might not know your name.
My name is Ken Orchard.
And I'm his daughter, Kelly Orchard. And together we are,
Orchard Media Services.
and we're Ken and Kelly Orchard. And combined, we have nearly 100 years in radio broadcasting. Second generation broadcaster here. Dad was in Los Angeles radio before I was ever born. How old are you now?
I will be 80 in December of 2017.
And as of this recording, it's November of 2017. So in 1 month, you're turning 80.
Yeah.
And you're still active. You still do the whole radio stuff.
I got too many people I know and too many people that need help.
Yes.
And this is with public files, publicity, engineering, you name it, log design, public file design. And of course, in 2018, all radio stations have to be on the internet, on the FCC's website. Oh, too much.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I wanted to bring up, because I found this article quite a while ago, but I've been kind of saving it. I wanted to have you share your story about when you were a instructor of broadcasting.
What year was that? 1972.
Okay.
I'm working at KHJ Radio in Los Angeles. KHJ was a AM/FM TV station in Los Angeles. And I was working there as an engineer, and the RKO got into trouble with the FCC. And so the management of KHJ wanted to know what people did, were they involved in the Rotary, Kiwanis, churches, YMCA, and so forth. And I raised my hand, and I had been asked to teach at Los Angeles City College. And I told my boss that, and he says, that's very good. So therefore we used it. And so he says, you can go off and teach. We will put that on the resume to the FCC about what this wonderful staff of. Now the staff was made up of about 200 and some people, 70 engineers, and 250 total on the staff. And so I would teach at Los Angeles City College radio and television broadcasting, and they would cover for me, and I double dipped. I got paid from the college.
So now what were you? Yeah, what were you teaching? What was the subject?
Teaching complete broadcast compliance of and their history, rules, regulations. You just name it. It was the history of radio, television, and
back in this was like, I don't know if it was 72, maybe it was like the late 60s.
Well,
late 60, early 70-ish.
Well, this is 72 that I got teaching. I did it for 3 years.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun.
All right. So and on that note, and I'm going to narrate this, read this, and then I'm gonna put it up on the screen. But I want to read this article that was in I will show you, the Los Angeles Collegian. It is a newspaper of the Los Angeles City College, and this is dated January 1972. Former instructor survey speaker. Ken Orchard, KHJ production engineer and former LACC instructor, was today's guest speaker at Broadcasting Survey. Orchard recalled his days at LACC not only as the instructor of Broadcasting 9, control room practice, but also his time spent on campus as a student. In 1955, our instructors told us what to look forward to in order to get a job, he said. They told us that we were on the verge of something big. They were referring to color TV, he added. Orchard cited video audio cassettes as something big to look forward to in 1972. In 1959, Orchard, then 21, was the youngest man ever to be hired as an engineer by KHJ. He is also a realtor, tax consultant, and notary public. He stressed the importance of choosing a goal in life and striving to achieve it. The secret for success, Orchard added, was the theory that we become what we think about. He commented that people will develop into whatever they yearn for or contemplate all day, if this contemplation is accompanied with a strong desire to succeed. There is no competition in the United States, he continued, because everyone else is conforming. Orchard felt that if a person wishes to be successful in his chosen profession, he needs only have the will and, perhaps, a gimmick. Orchard's gimmick in the field of real estate were his phone numbers, for rent and for sale. Others asked why this hadn't been thought of 20 years ago, he said. Of all his goals, Orchard claims to have accomplished all but one, to own a radio station. I have a draft of a station I drew up years ago, he stated. Someday, I'm going to build that station. Orchard's initiative to attain this goal could be attributed to another theory in which he believes. Everything will come to a man if he waits for it. Dad,
Yes,
when did you build your first radio station?
1980.
So you've achieved your goals.
Yes.
So, and you haven't heard that. I mean, you
No, and how many did we build?
5. We actually built 5 radio stations. So you 5 times your goal of owning a radio, of building and owning a radio station. So the message here, it's like part of what I do in my, in my mental health and coaching is I always talk about mindset, and we are what we become, or we become what we think about. And when I saw this article about my dad, I knew that it was true about my dad, but I found it really amazing and astounding that this is what he said, and this was what my dad's mentality was when I was a child. And so when anybody says, well, who's your biggest influence? I would honestly say probably my dad, because you're also the one who taught me years ago when I was 19 years old and I wanted to buy a boat. And you said, if you write it down, you will get your boat. And I got my boat months later. It was a junk boat, but I still bought a boat.
Noah's Ark.
It was a Noah's Ark. All right, so what do you think of that? I mean, is that pretty amazing? I know you haven't seen that in probably 40 years.
I'm befuddled. Yeah.
You're befuddled?
It's very nice. I remember, teaching at LA City College. I did that, like I said, for 3 years. And we did build the radio stations. And we have stayed in this industry. And here I am now approaching 80 years old. We built a radio station in Bakersfield, California. It was interesting going through now this is before the internet. This is all done by a typewriter filling out applications with the FCC. Getting back to this article from LA City College, that was a long time ago. And I remember, I remember well, I went to a bank once before I built the radio station. And I asked the guy, I said, I'd like to borrow some money from your bank here, and I want to build a radio station. He said, how much do you need? $150,000. And he says, we don't make loans on radio stations. We don't make loans on anything unless you got collateral. Don't you have a friend in the family that's got that money? I says, no. He said, go ahead and get a second job.
Yeah.
So that's when the real estate
when you started doing real estate.
So we started buying houses in the San Fernando Valley and selling them, and we made some money, and that's where it came with money. Money.
So
to build the first station.
it's like, so when you were trying to, we knew that you got the station, you won the application and the construction permit, and you knew that it was Victorville and that we were going to go there. Now that process took a couple of years to sell the house and to find the studio location and all of that other stuff. But one of the things that you did to raise the capital was you owned how many houses in the San Fernando Valley at the time?
We had 18
houses.
We rented out.
You were like a property management. You were an owner and property manager person, while you were also being an engineer at KHJ and K-Earth.
And so in 1980, looking back at it now, here it is 2017, would I be better off
keeping those houses, those 18
houses
in the valley? Because they're all probably worth at least $1 million now?
Each.
Or $500,000 each or something, yeah. But at the time you sold them, and that was the money that you used to build the radio stations.
I would have never,
Yeah, because in those days they didn't give you a capital money to build a station. So if you didn't have it, what were you going to do?
So we built radio stations, and we learned a lot. And a lot of people have called us. A lot of people have used our expert advice and so forth and so on. And we helped other people build them in Las Vegas, Arizona. I just am amazed. People would call up and say, hey, how do you do this?
Help.
I need your help. What kind of a form do I use? Who do I contact at the FCC? It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm still kicking and still doing it.
Still doing it. Still being silly too, huh?
Yeah.
Stumbled across this article, and once I read it, it was like, look at Dad. Look at him go with his a way a man thinks is what he's going to become. This man thought about being a radio station owner, and he did it. Period.
Are we finished now?
Are you ready to go take a nap?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Kelly Orchard,
Ken Orchard.
radio at its finest. Over and out. Thanks for joining us.